All right, what's up, y'all? Happy Sunday. This is Sunday Funday. So we're going to jump right into it. Hopefully, you all can come on over to YouTube where you can watch them. IG, it doesn't matter. But anyway, hope you're having a blessed day. Let's get started. You know, I won't be on here that long because I got to go live tonight. But I want to talk about the prodigal son. And the modern church has given people a false reality to make them believe that you're not going to be held accountable, even when you believe that you aren't going to be held accountable. Um, the prodigal son story is a great story because it really highlights how people think things are going to go. Um, if you actually read the story, I'm gonna read it, but it's just really about, a young man takes his inheritance and he goes and he indulges in the world. And, he realized that the world isn't what he thought it was. And then he goes back home, to be with his father and his family. It's actually a great story. Um, they should turn it into a movie. I don't know if somebody's done it, but I think the lesson for the prodigal son is one for the times we're in now. Folks believe that because God gives them grace and gives them mercy, that there isn't a price to pay. Most folks believe that if they ask for forgiveness, they won't suffer a consequence of the sin. And so this is what the church is taught. The church has sent people down the wrong path. And so what it makes you believe is that your actions are inconsequential, meaning that I can do something and what I do won't affect me if I just ask for forgiveness, if I just tell God that I was wrong and I'm sorry. It's not how that works. There's still a price to pay for what you did. Even the world knows that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So even the world knows that you do something, there's going to be a reaction to it. What goes around comes around. So again, this mindset and thinking makes people believe that this stuff doesn't matter, that politics doesn't matter, the economy doesn't matter, the state of the world doesn't matter because, eventually it'll work itself out. Those days are gone. Those days ended in 2020. And so the reality that we had back then no longer exists. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. Um, so now, who is president is going to matter. Who is your mayor is going to matter. Who is your governor is going to matter because you have to ask yourself, are these people aligning with this globalist agenda? If they are, then it's good night, Irene. But anyway, let me just get started reading this prodigal son real quick. Luke 15, verse 11 through 32. And he said, a certain man had two sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. Now, notice this story starts out with the younger brother, because the younger brother has it easier than the father and the older brother. Because, again, he's being born into a situation where the labor has already been put forth. The foundation has been laid. So imagine that the younger brother was probably looked at as, spoiled by the father in a sense, and the younger brother. He was the baby. And so what we are in America, we are the babies of what's been created before us. We are the children of all of the blood, sweat, and tears that have been created before us. And so we have an idea that life is great, life is good. This is never going to change. This is what it is. I can afford to mess up, still bounce back and have a great life. I can afford to do these things and still end up good. So, verse 14, and when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled bellies. Hold on. Verse 16, and he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with the hunger? Again, in a situation where his actions have cost him. Now he squandered his inheritance. Again, I liken this to freedom that we've been given. Now, many skeptics will tell you that we don't have any freedom in America. It's an illusion. It's not an illusion. Everything that's going on in America today was done by the people's consent. Even if they snuck and did something, when you found out about it, what'd you do? You see my point? When you found out what they were doing, what did you do? Nothing. So you consented, because silence is consent. Okay, what they tell you. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. There's a reason why you got to make that bold proclamation. You got to establish your position with your words. Back in the day, your word is your bond. So words are powerful. Your word is how you establish covenants. God established his covenant with the people through words. So if you're silent, that is an agreement to what's going on. And so when you found out about chemtrails, what'd you do? Did you write your congressman? Did you boycott these companies that you believe are doing it? Did you boycott the government? What'd you do? Again, silence is consent. So nothing is happening in this world that happens without our consent. The devil can't make you do nothing. He can entice you. He can deceive you. Maybe even trick you, but he can't do it. He can't make you do it. So the fact that everything is done with consent means that everybody has agency over their consciousness, meaning that we know right from wrong. Whether we want to be inconvenienced by it or something else, but we know right from wrong. Like we know when something is right, we know when it's wrong. So when it came to the last elections, and they were pulling out ballots and blocking windows, what did people do? Nothing. Going to the Capitol wasn't doing anything because it was dumb. The issue with the Capitol was dumb. You're supposed to go in front of the Capitol. You're supposed to list your grievances with everything that was going on. You're supposed to list your grievances. Listen, this is what we want. And our solution to this is succession. There should have been folks from each state. Because now we're in a situation now where you're going to have to separate. Because Kamala more than likely is going to be the leader. I know it's sad to say, but Joe Biden got in office, and I told y'all this. Once Joe Biden got in office, you are not going to be able to hold anybody else accountable. I told y'all this. I told you this. Once he got in office, you're not going to be able to hold anybody else accountable. You can hold Trump accountable. He's not in office. So again, people want Kamala to be president because that is the spirit of America. That's where we are. It is a prodigal nation. And that prodigal nation is going to try to return home. It's not going to work. Let's continue. And he came, verse 17 again, and he came to himself. He said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? He's saying, how many of my father's servants got food to spare, and I'm over here starving? I come from a well-to-do family. All right. I'm an American. You know, I stand for freedom. How in the world could I be in the hog pen? Because then being in the hog pen is 2020 and 2021 with those shots, those mandates. That's the hog pen. That's you totally out of character, totally out of bounds, totally out of your covering, totally in a far off land. Where we were in America in the modern day, in 2020 and 2021, where these folks are telling you have to do something, people are actually doing it. People actually complied to the tune of 300 million people out of 350. America died 3 or 4 years ago. America died. Now you're trying to return back home. But we're going to get to it. But we're going to get to it. And I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto my father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and I am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy servants. And he arose and he came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and I am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. So imagine his son looked very tattered and torn, dirty, filthy, no shoes, just looked like a degenerate. And this is how Americans looked in 2020 and 2021, because these people told you that you couldn't be free anymore. And what did you do? Going to the Capitol wasn't a solution. The solution was for everybody in their individual state to do it. That was the solution. For the people to say that this government is becoming tyrannical, we don't agree. Now, what happened was that you may have been in a state where you had some freedoms. You may have been in a red state where they weren't forcing you and hounding you. But guess what? You still should have did it. You know why? Because if it's happening in a few states, eventually it'll be all states. This is what I mean by people thinking that this one small thing doesn't lead to a big thing. An avalanche doesn't start with that big, all the snow falling down. An avalanche starts with some small breaking off, some piece of something small, and that's a chain reaction. And so this is where we are in America today, that we've allowed ourselves to be like the prodigal son. We went out and we enjoyed our inheritance. We thought freedom didn't come with a price. No, freedom comes with a price. Freedom comes with a price, and we see that. What have women done with freedom? Think about it. What has women done with freedom? Imagine all these women fighting for freedom, and what's the end result of it? Kamala Harris. Think about all these women throughout the centuries fighting for their freedom, and the end result of that fight is Kamala Harris. If Kamala Harris is the fruit of women's suffrage and liberation, then that means that the tree of women's suffrage and liberation wasn't righteous. The fruits let me determine whether the tree is righteous or not. So the fact that we have Kamala Harris about to possibly be the president lets you know that the women's suffrage movement and liberation wasn't righteous from the beginning, because there's no way it can start off righteous and end this way. If it was truly righteous, there would be checks and balances all along the way for it to not end up with something like this in the end. So now you got Americans trying to return back to this whole freedom and nation and all this stuff. But guess what? It's too late. I'm going to show you why it's too late. My bad. And hold on. And bring hither the fatted calf, this is verse 23, and bring hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found, and they began to be merry. Now his elder son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father had killed the fatted calf, because he had received him safe and sound. So what you have now is obviously you have the liberal decadent movement, but you also have this freedom movement, this conservative movement, this let's get America back. Larry Elder says we have a country to save. All of these sentiments are arising, but in reaction to the radicalism of the libtards and the left and the communists. The spirit these so-called people have today, that we so-called have, this spirit of freedom and getting America, should have been the spirit the entire time. But because it wasn't, because we left with our inheritance and indulged in decadence, this is the result. The result is now you're trying to come back and get something you no longer have a claim to. I'm sorry. This is a harsh reality, especially for believers. This whole Kamala thing is inorganic, it's fake, it's all of these things, but it's real. It's real. Even though it's all of the things that we could say it is, it's still real. Why is it real? Because it's real in the minds of everyday people. It's real. And he was angry, verse 28, and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. So the older brother's upset because he didn't leave. Older brother said, listen, I've been faithful. I didn't go waste my inheritance. I've been serving you. I've been honoring God. I've been doing everything that you asked me to do, but you're celebrating him. You're celebrating him. You're celebrating Charlie Kirk. You're celebrating Candace Owens. You're celebrating Ben Shapiro. You're celebrating Officer Tatum. You're celebrating Larry Elder. You're celebrating all these so-called, who's the guy that runs PragerU? You're celebrating the Heritage Foundation. You're celebrating Trump. You're celebrating all of these people that are representing this fight to get America back to where it's supposed to be. These are the very individuals, though, that did what the prodigal son did. They enjoyed the freedoms of America so much to the point where they left, lived their best life. Now they're trying to come back and say we got to get things in order. Meanwhile, there's been folks this entire time, there has been people this entire time along the way and even today that never strayed from that path. They didn't get any TV time. They didn't get any air time. They didn't go viral. They didn't get any lights. They didn't get any camera. They didn't get any act. They got none of that. They did what was right this entire time and nobody cared. And now all of a sudden, people care about freedom. Think about Alex Jones. Whether he's a psyop or not, Alex Jones caught the arrows way back then. The guy with the WikiLeaks, Tim something. So what I'm saying is, even people from back in the day, Booker T, Reverend Jackson. Like, so again, there have been people all along the way that nobody cared about, didn't get any attention. And now, in America's most critical hour of need, you got all these people that went out there, blew their inheritance. Now they're coming back to fight on the side of what's right and what's freedom. And guess what we're doing? We're being like the Father. We slaughtered the fatted calf, we're giving them the robes, putting the rings on their fingers, giving them shoes on their feet. Thank you, Julian Assange. Thank you. But my point is that there's been people that along this entire time that been doing this, trying to wake us up, especially since 9/11. 9/11 was to me the beginning of this modern day truther phenomenon. That was because that was something that everybody saw in plain sight, you know. And again, the enemy is clever because the enemy is going to show you something and is going to make you make a decision. So now even the lamest person, even the most uninitiated person, saw that the game was rigged. You know, saw the game was rigged. But, and again, I'm not saying that these conservative people or these freedom fighters don't deserve their flowers. What I'm saying is that this comes after you went out into the world and squandered your inheritance, because now there's a globalist agenda in place. And maybe it would have been in place all along, but I know one thing: anytime we've shown resistance, they've backed off. So I'd venture to say that if the people say no, what are they going to do? If they don't back off and they say, well, it's all out war, and it's all out war, it's time to end anyway. Either way you make a decision is made. Either we fight right now to the death, or you stop this regime. But this little gray area in the middle, it can't exist, because the gray area creates what you see today. Kamala Harris being president. Verse 29, and he answering said to his father, lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgressed I at any time thy commandment, and yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. And so again, he's saying you didn't honor me. Even me now, right? I'm late to the game. 4 years ago, me myself, prodigal son. I've returned back, trying to return back to get an America that I once knew. But when I had that quote unquote America, when I had it, you think about it, it was a lot easier to fight this without AI. It's a lot easier to fight this without big tech. It's a lot easier to fight this stuff without these systems in place. It's a lot easier to fight this back in the 90s, back in the 80s, back in the 70s, when you had stronger men around, you had stronger families, you had stronger people. It was easier to fight it back then. But guess what? Think about what was happening in the 60s and 70s, 80s, partying, drugs. Just think about what was taking place. In the times where we actually could have put up a great fight, it was the time spent partying, having a good time. And it went into the 90s. And I'm saying I'm guilty of it too. I'm even guilty of it, because here I am 4 years in the game, and I get my flowers, I get my praise, I get my love. I'm a prodigal son. I spent decades of being flagrant, being foolish, wasting my inheritance. And now I come now talking about let's fight for freedom. Who am I to do that? I'm going to still do it, but I'm just saying. Who am I to do it? I had a chance. You know? Verse 30. But as soon as thy son was come, which had devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. And this is an argument. Most people will say that's been fighting this fight. Like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me, imagine all the people that's in the past, like say somebody like Booker T. Imagine, and I honestly believe Booker T was poisoned the way he died. But anyway, imagine the foundation that Booker T laid, and imagine what we did with it. Imagine, and I could even go to Christ. Imagine the foundation that Jesus laid, and look what we did with it. Imagine the price the disciples paid. Imagine the price the disciples paid, and look what we did with it. People have died horrific deaths. People have been slaughtered just so that we will be able to have the gospel and what we do with it. People even died for the making of America so we can have the freedom to worship God how we chose and speak the gospel. What did we do with it? So again, I'm not exempting myself from being a prodigal son, but I'm saying what you're seeing now is a prodigal nation. Is folks trying to get back to what they believe America was years ago. But when you had the chance to fight for it, what'd you do? You didn't. You went and you squandered your inheritance with harlots. And I'm guilty. Imagine us in America right now debating over when a person should kill their baby. Think about that. That's a debate. When should a person legally be able to kill their baby? Some say 6 weeks. Some say 12 months. So again, the fact that there's even two sides having a negotiation lets you know all is lost. There is no negotiation that we can have with Democrats. There's zero. Think about a person that tells you Kamala should be president. You can't even live around them. Think about a person saying, I believe that Kamala Harris should be president. I don't even want to live by that person because I know they're insane. A person that says Kamala should be president is the same person that will tell the government you're over there planning your escape out of the communist state or city. The same person that says vote for Kamala is the same person that says I'm going to work on the side of the communists. It's the same person. The same person that says I agree with mandates is the same person that will say that will turn you in for you and your family when they catch you reading the Bible. This is why we have to separate. Somebody asked me about God and God's people and God wanting us to, stay away from certain people. If you go back and read the scriptures, though, God always attached what the people were doing. It wasn't just the people. It was what the people were doing. It's not about race. It's about what the people are doing. So a group of folks over there are worshiping false gods. It's not because they're black or they're white. It's because they're worshiping false gods. And we know this because God talks about saving the heathen and saving the Gentile. And the heathen and Gentile are saved through faith, meaning that their actions change, their belief system change, their mind is renewed. That's how that heathen gets saved. And that heathen and Gentile is able to come into this body of Christ, into this family. So the issue has never been about race, how somebody looks. It's about the culture of the people. What are they serving? What are they doing? But again, it's the prodigal son returned. And so this is where we are. Verse 31 is powerful. Verse 31 is what most people miss. Verse 31 If you notice, everybody focuses on the prodigal son returning, because the prodigal son returning is a metaphor for us being lost sheep and returning to Christ. It's for us being lost but being found. It's for us, Christ, Jesus loves us so much. He welcomes us with open arms. He hugs us. He kisses us, prepared a feast. I'm so happy that my son or daughter has returned. But verse 31 is the reality. Verse 31 is the most sobering verse in the whole story. And it's the one that most pastors don't talk about. When most folks tell this story, they don't talk about this part of the story. Verse 31 says, and he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Which means the prodigal son returned, but guess what? He doesn't have an inheritance. The prodigal son returned home, but the catch is, after all the feasts, the fatted calf, the music, the celebration, the new clothes, the rings, we make it in modern terms. Imagine coming home, being in the world, your dad got a new car waiting for you, some new clothes, some money, some jewelry, some ice, everything you want, your dad got it for you. Welcome, my son is home, I'm happy. You riding around in the car, jewels, ice, flossing, feeling good about yourself. But then it dawns on you, wait a minute. If I squandered my inheritance, then that means I don't own nothing. If I squander my inheritance, that means my brother owns all of this, because I took my portion, I cashed out my portion, and I went and squandered it. So now when I come back, technically, I'm working for my brother. Technically, I'm working for my brother. This is all his. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get back to an America that we lost the inheritance to. I'm sorry. It's sad, but we had our chance. And so the freedom fight looks good. Conservatism looks good. They making movies. People have gotten rich off of being a conservative and being free. Freedom and conservatism. People have gotten rich over these past X amount of years. I would say since 2016 up until now. But guess what? All good things must come to an end. And so how do we rectify? How does the prodigal son rectify his inheritance being lost? He has to do something that he doesn't want to do. He has to be the best son to his father and the best younger brother to his older brother. He has to have a life of service. The only way to make amends for what he did is to just have a life of service. And so if we're not ready to make the tough decision, which is to separate, make no mistake about it, we're going to have to do what we refused to do back in the day and actually try to establish something with honor, character, and integrity off of sacrifice, righteous sacrifice. Meaning we want to separate from this country, but be in the country, but just separate and succeed and do things the right way. But guess what? Without the inheritance, because the inheritance will go to our children. It ain't going to us. We squandered what we would want to build for our children. That's been squandered. I'm sorry. Now all we can do is fight for our children and the next generation. I gave my 20s up. I gave my 30s up. I gave up priceless years. Like think about how much is a decade worth in your 20s? How much would people pay to have 10 years of their 20s lived again? How many? How much money do you think somebody would pay, or what would they do to be able to relive their 20s now? You couldn't set a price. You couldn't set a price on how much 10 years of your 20s is worth. Priceless. People would destroy an orphanage. People would burn down an orphanage to get that. People would burn down an orphanage with all the children inside to just get 10 years in their 20s back. And the same for their 30s. So what I'm saying is, many of us, including myself, we squandered priceless years. We took the inheritance that God gave us and we squandered it. So now what we're fighting for isn't for us. It ain't for us. It's for the next generation. It's for our children. It's for these other children. It's for the future. It ain't for us. We squandered ours. It's been squandered. So let me get to the last verse. I'm sorry, get to the last verse. Last verse. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. For thy brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found. So we are thankful to God that we know that we need to be free. We are thankful to God that we are actually born in America. We can appreciate it. We are thankful to God that we have an awareness that what is coming down the pipeline is something that's very bad. We are thankful. I'm thankful that I have some kind of understanding about what's going on. I'm glad and I'm happy. I'm blessed for it because late's better than never. However, what I'm fighting for isn't myself. It's not for me to be free. It's not for, no, I'm fighting for my children because I squandered my inheritance. So if my life, the rest of my life is spent fighting and with labor and toil, then guess what? It's supposed to be because I squandered my inheritance. That's what it is. That's what it is. So when the prodigal son returns, he returns owning nothing. The only leverage he has is that that's his brother and that's his father. That's it. He has no other rank above the servants. And it's funny because when he was in the hog pen, he realized, he said that even his servants, his father's servants, were above him at that point. That moment then was a foreshadow. When you go back, you're the lowest person in your father's house because the servants are loyal and faithful. They didn't leave. Your brother's loyal and faithful. He didn't leave. Your father obviously didn't leave. So you're the outcast. You're the one coming back to all of this. So what I'm saying is that our fight isn't for us. Our fight is for the people after us. It just is. We had a chance. From 2001, 9/11, that was plenty of time for us to get our act together, and we didn't. And so I'm saying, and I tell that story to make sure that we have a righteous intent. Our intent isn't to go back to get our inheritance back. Our intention isn't to go back and be in good graces with our father or our brother or the servants. Our intention in going back is to do what's right, is to be honorable. So our fight moving forward needs to be an honorable fight. I don't know if the prodigal son came back and said that he sinned against God and his father. So hopefully the prodigal son would have had the lesson to say, you know what? Since I squandered my inheritance away, now I gotta be dedicated to service. And guess what? I'm not saying that we can't enjoy life. I'm not saying that God might step in. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is our intentions in this fight have to be right. They can't be selfish. Our focus has to be for the future. Even if we sacrifice now, it's worth the future, our children growing up in some kind of normal environment with some kind of peace of mind. God forbid our children grow up and everything and everybody in charge is trans, LGBTQ. Can you imagine what kind of stress that puts under the average person? That you got to answer to these people every day, all day, and they control your livelihood, your food, your water. So again, we may still be able to enjoy, life. I'm not saying we can. I'm not saying that God's not going to bless us and look out for us. I'm just saying that our intent has to be righteous, and it can't be about us. Because when I play back tape of my life, I squandered the best years. Best years as far as, my energy, my time, all that stuff. This is the best years. But so I realized, and my friend been talking about it. My friend says, I can't even, he said, I can't even have a wife, family, and all that be my focus because I may not get it. He said, all I can do is just fight now and hope that somebody else can get it. Our motivation has to be somebody else. It's tough. Hopefully God will be like, you know what, let him enjoy. Hopefully, you get a wife, get a family, get all these things. Hopefully you can get it. Hopefully I can get it. But if we don't get it, guess what? It is what it is. It is what it is. So I don't know. I thought about the prodigal son. I was just thinking about how most folks miss the fact that he lost his inheritance. He came back with nothing. And the church tells you, oh, you could do this, and just know it's going to be a price to pay. It's a price to pay for all of us for having this freedom that we've had and squandering it. And when I say squander it, I mean not protecting it. When I say squander our freedom, I mean not protect it. So at the end of the day, if I don't get it, then I count it all joy. If I do get it, I really gonna count it joy. But I'm just saying that our folks has to be righteous. And this whole Kamala thing is very eye-opening for me because it lets us know that, this thing is, this is teetering on what we had nightmares about. Kamala being president would be a nightmare. Even if Trump wins, the day that Trump is officially wins, the next day there's going to be a new Peter pandemic, cyber attack, police shooting, racism, climate issue. So even if Trump wins, they're going to release the Kraken. Even if Trump wins, they're going to release the Kraken. So if Kamala wins, they're going to release the Kraken, but the door will be like this. That big gate, it'll go up like this. But if Trump is in office, release the Kraken. And so my point is that because we were asleep on the watch, including myself, and we can say we didn't know, but 9/11 was a wake-up call. 9/11 was an alarm for the modern era of what was going on. Everybody saw that. Everybody saw that. And I believe that most folks saw it and knew it was fake but said, I don't want to deal with that. Because if I go against 9/11, I got to go against the media. I got to go against my family. I got to go against my friend. I got to go against my woman. I got to go against my boy. Like, people knew there was a consequence to going against 9/11. And so I'm just saying that if either one wins, ultimately it's going to be the same thing. Hopefully, best case scenario, Trump gets in office and we got 4 more years to prepare. But I'm telling you, even if Trump gets elected, even if we have an election, they're going to release the Kraken. Let's continue. Let's get to some videos. Jay Blue said, when I was in England, I saw ATM machines by the church lobby. Yes, Creflo's Dollars Church had, they said had ATMs in there. Creflo Dollar came out and said he was wrong about tithing. He done got millions of dollars in tithes and said he was wrong. Did he give it back? Did he bless the congregation? No, he kept the money. See, he thinks he can just say, I was wrong about tithing, and that's it. You know, ease my conscience. No, you gotta get the money back. So if I make 20 million illegally, it ain't enough for me to say I made it illegally. I'm gonna give my life to God to keep the money. Now you gotta give all the money back. Let's continue. Let's continue. I know someone who made a good living selling gun parts legally, totally legal, and they framed him and put him in federal prison. Yeah, it sounds about right. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Hold on, where can I? Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Congratulations to you, man. I heard you just closed on 3 multi-million-dollar contracts.
Yes. That was, yeah.
Then your wife left you.
13 days prior to signing those contracts.
Life, bro.
So are you asking a question? Or?
Yeah, I guess the question is, man, did that make you be like, well, maybe this is timing, it just is what it is? Or like, did you have any type of reservations about that?
I had a revelation, and the revelation is young kings, focus on the bag. After you get the bag, choose what's best for you. Not what you want, choose what's best for you. Before you get to the bag, do your due diligence to pray to whoever it is you pray to or meditate that your blessings actually be on hold until you are aligned with your destiny so that you don't lose your blessings. Shit's gonna hurt, it's gonna fuck with you. You're gonna miss out on a whole lot of sleep. You're gonna cry your eyes out. However, I need you to understand, focus on your bag, pray, meditate that you have the discernment to have people in your life who are going to elevate you and not suck you dry. Deal with the pain shit later. Focus on your bag, young king.
Okay, so what he just said sounds good. But the problem is that this is hindsight information. So the hindsight information should be adequate information because hindsight is 2020. So him speaking in hindsight, he's going to give you some clear instructions. The first problem is that the woman he married. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm assuming this guy is a successful businessman. He signed 3 contracts worth millions of dollars. So I'm assuming he's a successful businessman. I don't know what he does, but I'm just going to assume. But think about him being a successful businessman and his life and his wife leaving him right before he signs the contracts. And listen to him say, focus on the bag. So what he's saying is that he focused on some things that weren't the quote unquote bag. And so he talked about the pains of delayed gratification. What I'm saying is that he's giving 2 messages. The Bible says there's only 2 types of men in the world. It's either wise or there's foolish. There's not this mix of 2 types of men right here. 2 types of men. Either he's wise or he's foolish. What would a wise man say? A wise man would say, these are the areas that I erred in. These are where I failed at right here. It's by the grace of God that I was able to sign these contracts. Because technically, I should have been failed a long time ago. Because when you tell a story like this, most folks think they can do it this way. Then he says, pray whatever God you pray to. It's bad information. What if you're praying to a God that hates you? What if you're praying to a God that hates people? What if you're praying to a God that hates finances? What if you're praying to a God that hates success? So again, what he's saying sounds good. Most folks want to hear what he's saying and take it, but it's not good information. Why did you pick the woman that you picked? What was your mindset? What about character? How many folks did you step over? How many folks did you crush? How many folks did you finesse? How you get the contracts matters. How you get the money matters.
Congratulations to you, man. I heard you just
Appreciate
closed on 3 multi-million-dollar contracts.
Yes. That was, yeah.
Then your wife left you.
13 days prior to signing those contracts.
Life, bro.
So are you asking a question? Or?
Yeah, I guess the question is, man, did that make you be like, well, maybe this is timing, it just is what it is? Or did you have any type of reservations about that?
I had a revelation, and the revelation is young kings focus on the bag.
That's what I mean. After all that, think about this now. Think about you having a failed marriage. And think about you going through all of this. And your summation is, your revelation is, focus on the money. Not, I need to have more wisdom. I need to have better character. I should have been more disciplined. I should have gave my life to God. None of that. No accountability. Focus on the bag, king.
After you get the bag, choose what's best for you. Not what you want. Choose what's best for you. Before you get to the bag, do your due diligence to pray to whoever it is you pray to or meditate that your blessings actually be on hold until you are aligned with your destiny so that you don't lose your blessings. Shit's gonna hurt. It's gonna fuck with you. You're gonna miss out on a whole lot of sleep. You're gonna cry your eyes out. However, I need you to understand, focus on your bag, pray, meditate that you have the discernment to have people in your life who are going to elevate you and not suck you dry. Deal with the pain shit later. Focus on your bag, young king.
And again, it just sounds good to say. But the message he's giving to young kings, it's not going to work. Because you're not going to mention character. Again, how we do something, why we do something, and how we do something matters. That's why the world came up with a message that just get the bag. The world said get the bag because they want you to focus on how you got the bag, to get it. They made getting the bag righteous, not the intent behind wanting the bag or the journey to it. They made getting the bag the righteous attribute, the righteous feat. Get the bag. Many people out there in the world today doing a whole lot for some money. Many people out doing a whole lot for some money. I'm talking about cars, house, all that. Doing a whole lot for some money. But they aren't happy. You show me anybody doing it for money, and I guarantee they're not happy. Guarantee it. Because what joy could a person get out of knowing that a piece of paper determines everything? Let's continue. Let's continue.
Romantic love is such a bad thing.
Because it puts unrealistic expectations on a relationship. Romance is about whining and dining. And let's be honest, romance is about making women happy. There's nothing in the romantic model that says a man has to be happy at all. The romantic model says a man has to produce jewels, he has to produce nice things.
Right.
Look at the model of how proposals go in the West. Everybody has that image of their mind of a man down on his knee, bearing a gift, jewelry that's supposed to represent 3 months of his salary. It's all set up, it's all arranged in advance. That's romance. Romance is laying rose petals at her feet. Romance is talking to her.
Worshipping women.
It is a worship. Gee, what could go wrong there? Long term, if you start a relationship with that kind of unrealistic expectation, that only thing that matters is elevating her. The only thing that matters is her happiness.
And that's why you get these women saying they fell out of love.
Absolutely.
Because they came in with the expectation of romantic love.
And women aren't particularly romantic. Men are. Men are the romantic ones. I work with couples. I work with men post-divorce. It's always the men that are devastated. The broken hearts. I mean, I see it affects women too, no doubt. But for most guys that I work with, by the time the divorce rolls around, she's doing well. Got a new boyfriend.
Right.
Probably had one before they ever broke up. She monkey branched right out of it. And women tend to do their grieving while they're in the relationship, and then they're done. And then a guy is like, oh, it's over now. Then he starts.
Hold on one second, you all. Hold on one second, you all. But my question to you all would be, why do you think they have you bow down to a woman when you propose? Prudence says the only knee my fiance bows to is at the foot of the cross. He proposed looking me in the eyes, holding my trembling hands, assuring me with his voice God's in the details. Again, why do you think it's an idea to have the man bending down, putting the ring on the woman's finger? It is an act of submission. It's an act of submission. Think about the foundation of the relationship truly starts when the man proposes, because that's when he says and profess to the world, I'm going to make the woman my wife. That is the purpose of dating. So that is the relationship starts when the man says, I'm choosing her to be my wife. So notice at the very beginning of the relationship, Satan says, you need to bow down and put a ring on her finger. Think about the optics. Think about you being a man all the way in a relationship. And then in the biggest moment of a relationship, when you say, I'm going to make her my wife, you get on one knee and you bow down to the queen. I believe that that act right there is what leads to most marriages failing. It's a psychological aspect of a woman looking down and a man looking up. That's the most critical point of the relationship, is when the man proposes, because that sets the foundation. That sets it. You should be, like Prudence says, looking your woman in the eye. Looking her in the eye. You know, back in the day, women had to bow down to the man, humble herself. But that authority that the man gives to the woman would be the foundation of why his marriage is destroyed. This is why most people that are married aren't happy, because of that. That's the foundation of it. You submit to the woman. Even though we have a high divorce rate, do a study on how many folks are happily married. It's even worse than a divorce rate. The unhappily married rate is worse than a divorce rate, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Why is romantic love such a bad thing?
Because it puts unrealistic expectations on a relationship. Romance is about whining and dining. And let's be honest, romance is about making women happy. There's nothing in the romantic model that says a man has to be happy at all. The romantic model says a man has to produce jewels, he has to produce nice things.
Right.
Look at the model of how proposals go in the West. Everybody has that image of their mind of a man down on his knee, bearing a gift, jewelry that's supposed to represent 3 months of his salary. It's all set up, it's all arranged in advance. That's romance. Romance is laying rose petals at her feet. Romance is talking to her.
Worshiping women.
It is a worship. Gee, what?
And again, they want you to worship women, not because women are worthy to be worshiped, but because they know that worshiping a woman gets you Kamala Harris. Worshiping a woman gets you Kamala Harris. So they want you to give a woman undue and unrighteous admiration and praise, because what it does to you is it makes you put her above you. Now the Bible says that a man should love his wife like Christ loves the church, but Christ didn't put the church above himself. Christ sacrificed for the church. But the authority still rests with the Messiah. We are supposed to follow Christ. So in this sense, the Satan said, no, submit to the woman. Bow down to the woman. And now engagements have become idolatry. Because now you see a bunch of men mimicking this behavior, but really it's idol worship. Thinking it's cool to be on one knee. I want to make you my husband. Look that woman in the eye and tell her why you're marrying her. Do it with some honor and dignity. I don't care what a woman says. She may be enamored by the ring. She may be excited about the moment. All of that. But I guarantee in her subconscious, when you kneel down like that, she believes she's over you. And I guarantee in that relationship, that beast is going to rear its ugly head constantly. Stem says, I felt like kneeling is a form of begging and options. That's why I always thought it was stupid when Kaepernick was protesting a flag he was bowing to. Right. It's just stupid. But again, to me, kneeling is the way that you get the least amount of pushback. When you kneel, you don't get the wrath the same. So Kaepernick's kneeling was really a sign of, saying to the establishment, don't hit me too hard, don't hurt me. Even though the establishment wanted Kaepernick to kneel, clearly. I mean, he got his own ice cream, his own shoe, his own Netflix special, his own documentary. Come on, what are we talking about? Speaking engagements. Kaepernick's career now is way better than it would have been with football. Because he'd already been exposed as a one-trick pony. Anyway, let's continue.
What could go wrong there long term if you start a relationship with that kind of unrealistic expectation that only thing that matters is elevating her, the only thing that matters is her happiness.
And that's why you get these women saying they fell out of love. It's
Absolutely.
because they came in with the expectation of romantic love.
And
Lady B said, my husband didn't kneel to ask me to marry him. He texted me and asked, and I was okay with that too. Again, listen, if you fine with it how he did it, then, will you marry me? That's funny though. He texted you.
women aren't particularly romantic. Men are. Men are the romantic ones. I work with couples. I work with men post-divorce. It's always the men that are devastated, the broken hearts. I mean, I see it affects women too, no doubt. But for most guys that I work with, by the time the divorce rolls around, she's doing well. Got a new boyfriend.
Right.
Probably had one before they ever broke up. She monkey branched right out of it. And women tend to do their grieving while they're in the relationship, and then they're done. And then a guy is like, oh, it's over now. Then he starts.
Yeah. Look, and T said, and Kaepernick is about to potentially be a coach for Harbaugh with the Chargers. Yeah. Great career. I wouldn't have accepted the text. But how about a man kneeling to marry you, though? Because the kneeling is worse than the text. I'd rather him text than kneel all day. Miss Cat Sinclair said, when I met my husband, he used to say, happy wife, happy life. He stopped saying that after 6 years of marriage. I know that's right. Happy house. I know, happy spouse, happy house. We both need to feel good about this thing. We both should feel good. You know what? It's Sunday Funday. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing a live with Molly coming up. Molly is having her homesteading course in October. homesteading 101. A lot of you all want to be able to live off grid and whatnot, but so I'll be having Molly on live this week, trying to get folks to attend the event. But anyway, it's reminding me. Stimulated student said, men don't ask, we give commands. It should be my wife. Listen, one of my favorite songs by Al Green. One of my favorite songs by Al Green is Let's Get Married. Hold up. Let me see if I can find the lyrics. They ain't gonna let me play it. One of my favorite songs. I wanna get married. Let's get married today. Might as well just take you in my arms and hold you. Hold up. Yeah, his song is Let's Get Married. He said, basically, I gotta stop fooling around, let's get married. He ain't even like, he kind of asking the question, but he's like not really asking the question. You know, the whole song, he's like, you know, telling her, but I like the bold approach, like Stem says, you know. Make a commandment, you know, marry me. We getting married. That sounds even better. I'm not asking. You know what? I'm not asking. You know what, y'all? I'm not asking. We getting married. I ain't asking y'all. I done made my mind up. Right, Nick, you gotta be bold. We getting married. Will you marry me? Please say yes. No, forget it. We getting married. We getting married. I wanna get married. AI, hold on. Is that AI? AI is making a suggestion. You can't give women wiggle room. They'll always wiggle out. Yeah. Listen, fellas, be bold. You want to get married? Tell her we getting married. We getting married, man. We ain't all this. There's too much playing around. We getting married. I ain't playing with you. He went to justice of the peace, and he wouldn't wait for me to plan a wedding. He went to the justice of the peace the next week. Yeah, he ain't listen. Oh, you said Al. Oh, Al. Oh no, yeah, Al did leave wiggle room. Yeah, he did. Because Al is like, you know, let's get married today. He's like, might as well. You know, then he says, yeah, it's one of my favorite songs though. He on that thing snapping though. But yeah, be bold. Be bold. We getting married. And that's it. You know. Pretend she don't have any rights. We getting married. You know. Let's continue though. Let's continue. Speaking of men being bold. Speaking of men being bold.
How much do I look like a man to you?
I mean, no.
I don't look like a man to a lot of folks, and they can lie, they can tell that lie all day because
Right.
I walk broad daylight. I walk through, I busted through. So
Right.
even if a nooker jumped up and said that to me, jumped out the window and said that wouldn't hurt me because I know you lying to yourself. Because
Damn.
hands and feet don't make a woman. My aunt was 6 feet tall with big hands, big feet, and big pussy. Got 3-4 kids.
Woo.
So none of that stuff don't mean anything to me.
So you think he was saying that about me, about you on my guest
Jealous.
because jealous?
Jealous.
Because he might want to be sitting here
Yes.
talking to you.
Jealous. You never know.
Man,
You never know who done
damn.
watched me be lick dicks back in the day.
Ooh, he might want his dick licked.
You don't.
My bad, y'all. I thought it was edited.
He could be
I'm
online
a
looking at you.
legend and I'm an
Corey
icon.
Holcomb.
You never know who dick I make.
God dang. There's supposed to be an edited version of this. It's supposed to be. I'm sorry, y'all. It's supposed to.
Never know. It's okay. You see how you compliment me? You see how you can tell Messi, you're beautiful. You look
Okay, you see how you compliment me? You see how you can tell Messi you're beautiful? You look
nice.
yeah,
Because you know it is what it is.
Right.
because you know it is what it is.
Right.
You comfortable and you cozy, right? You
Well-
comfortable in your skin, right?
Yeah.
Right. You comfortable and you cozy, right? You comfortable in your skin, right? Yeah.
From here, yeah, shit. It's like, yeah, but damn, that nigga, okay.
Why he text me? How?
Yeah, fucking, and I had the bag off. Hey.
Now you got. So this is Pierre, comedian, and he has T. Madison on his show. And basically, T. Madison is again, he gonna push the agenda of the trans and all this stuff. And so T. Madison, the person you see in that chair, has a male anatomy, but looks like a woman. And he does, but he has a full package down there. But Pierre is on the show, and so because you can't be a man and you can't be bold, and again, this comes with freedom. Back in the day, you couldn't do this and have friends afterwards. You couldn't be on the show with a transgender telling them that the person was beautiful and all that. You'd got family, you would dishonored your family name, your friends would you'd have lost it all from a social standpoint. Maybe even got fired from your job. But with freedom, this is what you get. You get guys on these shows where they get to talk, talking to a transformer, and they got to submit to him. Like, you comfortable, right? You comfortable, right? You good, right? Like Debo.
You look.
Okay, you see how you
compliment me. You see how you can tell me. You never know. It's okay. You see how you compliment me. You see how you can tell Messi you're beautiful. You look.
Okay, you see how you compliment me. You see how you can tell Messi you're beautiful. You look.
Yeah.
Because you know it is what it is.
Right.
So basically, Corey Holcomb went at him, and so T. Madison basically got mad at Corey Holcomb for going after him. It's just one big mess. But I just wanted y'all to see this grown man in front of this transformer, let you know that this is what it is for Black people. So unless you submit to the trans LGBTQ, you're not gonna be able to be in these Black spheres, these shows, all this, having your little careers and entertainment, all that's gonna be dead. Politics, entertainment, and eventually the church is gonna all be ran by the trans and LGBTQ. So you can forget all this, I'm standing on business and all. No, you're gonna be standing on trans business, LGBTQ business, but you're not on Black business. So this is what you got to do to keep your show.
Because you know it is what it is.
Right.
You comfortable and you cozy, right? You comfortable in your skin, right?
Yeah.
Right. You comfortable and you cozy, right? You comfortable in your skin, right? Yeah.
From here, yeah, shit. It's like, yeah, but damn, that nigga, okay.
Why he text me? How?
Yeah, fucking, and I had the bag off. Hey.
I think this one was done by Making Conservatism Look Cool, because he had sent me some clips, man. I thought I'd download the rest of them, but he got blocked by Pierre because Pierre was talking. I can't wait till, I think he might know Pierre, I don't know, but he was texting Pierre, and Pierre was like, man, I can't wait till Kamala wins. I'm gonna stun on everybody. And he sent him this video of him with T. Madison, and he blocked him. Oh my goodness. Hold on, I got another one.
How you compliment me? You see how you can tell Master, you're beautiful. You look.
Okay, you see how you compliment me? You see how you can tell Master you're beautiful? You look.
Because you know it is what it is.
Right.
Because you know it is what it is.
Right.
You comfortable and you cozy, right? You comfortable in your skin, right?
Yeah.
Right. You comfortable.
Listen. You ain't got to announce when you leave in the chat, y'all. Like what kind of era do we live in where you got to announce that you leave in social media? Just leave. Listen, y'all, I'm about to go. I don't like what you showing, so I'm gonna leave. Just leave. Like why? Like, listen, you don't have to announce that you leaving the live stream or whatever. You ain't got to just leave. You ain't got to announce it. Just go ahead and just leave. You ain't got to let me know that you leaving and all that. Just leave. Anybody that wants to leave, they're welcome to leave. I'm not holding you hostage. This ain't class. You ain't got to have permission to go to the restroom. This ain't church. You got to hold your finger up. If you want to leave, you can simply just leave. You can hit a button and just log completely off. Come on now. Y'all got to stop this. You a grown man telling me make no announcement. Just leave.
You cozy, right? You comfortable in your skin, right? Yeah.
From here, yeah, shit. It's like, yeah, but damn, that nigga, okay.
Why he text me out?
Yeah, and I had the bag off. Hey.
But yeah, this is what, so again, all this black bourgeois, black elite, all this stuff that's been, you're going to have to go, the gatekeepers are now the LGBTQ. They're keeping the gate. And, before they kept the gate, used to get in with a password, Password might have been decadence. I don't know. Could have been Marxism. But now the password is going to be an act. You got to earn your way in the gate. No more we pass passwords. What you going to do to get inside this gate? Now, keep in mind, that's just to get in the gate. Once you get in the gate, the casting couch is still there. The favors are still old. Like, you just getting in the gate. Like, it's just another layer of security that they have for these elite circles. So you still, once you do what you do to get into the gate, don't pull your pants up just yet. You got to do a whole bunch of other stuff once you get in the gate. This is what black culture is right now. They got your boy Pierre on here just selling his soul. Yeah, he said, yeah, from here. Yeah, he ain't that crazy, right? He said, yeah, from here. I'm comfortable from here. On that couch, it's something else. But from right here, I'm cool. I'm saying you shouldn't be comfortable in the room. The problem is, if you comfortable in the room and you comfortable in the chair, next gonna be comfortable in the bed. That's just how it works. You can't be comfortable in the room. You can't even entertain evil. You can't even entertain evil. Let's continue.
That motherfucker cooking. Behind me, that motherfucker is cooking. Right? Can you smell what the walls is cooking? Goddamn it. What that motherfucker rock? Can you smell what the walls is cooking? That motherfucker cooking right there. Yes, he is. Let me hear your ad, Tim. Let me.
Soon to be President Harris says, when we fight,
we win. That motherfucker is cooking right now. Can you smell what the walls is cooking?
This is how you're going to be able to be successful in these quote unquote black circles. You're going to have to accept any and everything. You're going to have to be a buffoon. And this came from Kofi right here, Kofi 19. He got it called Slave. This is Slave. He got a, y'all can see it on Instagram. But he had This Is Slave in This Is Slave TV, and he got a raccoon with a chain around his neck. This is hilarious. This man got This Is Slave TV. But anyway, you see Ply, but guess what? This is what it's going to mean to be black. Utter buffoonery, acceptance of everything decadence. This is what it's going to mean right here. Let's continue. Let's continue.
We're here in Jersey, Atlantic City. Who do you support?
I plead the fifth.
Trump for the win.
Tell me why.
I can't really call that right now, but I just feel like she's not good for president. She's good vice, but not for the actual lead role for the country.
Does it have anything to do with being a woman?
No. No, because I feel like women, nah, you're not going to give me that.
Your money's on Harris.
Yeah.
Who do you want?
Trump.
Why don't you like Harris?
She doesn't have any experience.
She's the vice president. She's a senator.
Yeah, no experience. No. She had no experience.
Well, I want Donald Trump. I just feel we need somebody that has a stronger background with the military and the world in general.
She was a prosecutor and an attorney general and a senator and a vice president. You're in a gambling town. Who's your money on?
I'm going to support the Democratic Party, but, I mean, Trump looked like he got it in the bag right now.
4 years ago, it was a lot better. I made a lot more money than I do now.
I know you feel that way, but that's not actually what the record shows. The economy is actually better under Biden. No, I'm serious. That's what the facts show.
Okay, you know what?
No, that's not because I watch CNN. Trump or Harris?
Trump.
That's who's going to win.
That's who's going to win.
Who you support?
I support Trump. All the people that came to this country legally, it's not fair that they're letting all 10,000 to 15,000 people or 20,000 people here illegally. Have you seen San Diego? Yeah. They're coming off the boats, off the water right here, off the ocean. Did you know Biden was flying them in? Did you know Biden was flying them in? You didn't know that?
What do you Canadians think about what's going on here?
We think you're all nuts. We're just watching from afar and just enjoying the show.
I got to get out of Atlantic City. Where are we going to next?
Now imagine you feeling the effects of this inflation. Everybody knows how much money they made during Trump and how much money they made now under Biden. And imagine you looking at your bank account, your statements, your investments, your savings, you're looking at all this. And you have a running record of this. You have a comparison between when Trump was in office and now when Biden's in office. And imagine you feeling all the effects. And Don Lemon tells you it's the opposite. Think about Don Lemon telling you it's the opposite. Think about it. You see all this going on with this money, and Don, let me tell you, that's not actually true. But again, you saw Don Lemon approaching random people, and you saw the libtard in the end talking about Canada. We think y'all are nuts. No, we think y'all are nuts. Y'all are under Trudeau. We think you all are nuts. That's what I mean by delusion. Imagine a Canadian thinking that we're crazy. No, y'all are crazy. Trudeau is still in office. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are nuts. You got a straight communist in as your leader, fully. Let's continue. Let's continue. I got one more. Let me go to, you know what, hold on. Hold on 1 second. Today is Let's go. Hold on 1 second. That's not what I want. That's not what I want, y'all. That's not what I want, y'all. Hold on 1 second. Let me go to this real quick before I go. Let me go to my email real quick. This ain't, hold on, I got it. Wait 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry, 1 second. 1 second. Nah. One second. Okay, so
I saw you from over there and you're so pretty. I just wanted to say hi to you.
Oh, okay.
What's your name? Feel your soul from over there.
Oh, okay.
What are you up to?
Just walking.
Yeah? Are you gonna go to the Blue Jays game?
No, I wasn't planning.
No?
No.
You wanna like get dinner or something later?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your number?
Well, I don't really have a number. I use the payphone.
Okay.
Or I can use email, but I mean, we can make a plan now if you want.
All right.
And we can see each other later.
All right. What's
you
your?
Do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so let's do that. So let's think. Where do you want to meet? Do you want to meet at the?
What's your? Give me your email. Do you have email?
Yes.
All right. I will meet you later.
So this is in Toronto, Canada, and a guy is getting this woman, but the woman is homeless. And I want you to think about how they're normalizing, even like they're kind of like trying to blend the worlds where you have homeless people and regular people, and they can just come together. Like it's no, like so. If you listen.
I saw you from over there and you're so pretty. I just wanted to say hi to you.
Oh, okay.
What's your name? Feel your soul from over there.
Oh, okay.
What are you up to?
Just walking.
Yeah? Are you gonna go to the Blue Jays game?
No, I wasn't planning.
No?
No.
You wanna like get dinner or something later?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your number?
Well, I don't really have a number. I use the payphone.
Okay.
So again, so she can email him back because she has she'll probably go somewhere and be on Wi-Fi. Usually what they do, if they have a cell phone or something, they actually don't have a bill. They usually go in places and be on the Wi-Fi and use. I see it all the time, even right around here at the racetrack gas station over here. They have Wi-Fi, and so they let the homeless people, stay there all night, just sitting there and just be on Wi-Fi, just living their best life. But yeah, so she's homeless, but the guy sees her and hollers at her, and then basically they said he actually went out with her. I didn't see the follow-up video, but my point is they're trying to normalize this. If you go to the comments, it's like, oh, more people are homeless. They're trying to normalize you not having somewhere to stay. So they can normalize you staying in these big high rises, these big places that are for the quote unquote homeless. You talking about 15-minute city's gonna be a 15-minute building.
Or I can use email, but I mean, we can make a plan now if you want.
All right.
And we can see each other later.
All right. What's your?
Do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so
like imagine, like think about her, right? Think about her being homeless, but look how eager she is to just spend time with a complete stranger. Like this guy is a complete stranger, and she wants to go out with him without even talking to him. Like just no kind of discernment, just I don't want to get to know you, just let's go out. Maybe she wants a free meal, I don't know, but she just is just too eager. But my point with this video was just to show how they're trying to normalize this whole society where it's just like no separation between homeless and, you know, I guess not homeless.
Yes, let's do that. So let's think. Where do you want to meet? Do you want to meet at the?
What's your? Give me your email. Do you have email?
Yes.
All right. I will meet you later.
Okay, let's go to super stickers. Soy for night, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Randall Hampton, thank you so much for a super sticker. Thank you so much. But just imagine going out with going out with a homeless person. Now, folks gonna say, "What's wrong with that?" They need no. Thank you, T. I don't belong to a church. Never taking the shot or wearing a mask to go. Your videos are the truth and better and more safe than their wicked practices. Thank you for the message. Thank you, T. That's why I listen. After 2020, you saw most churches sold out. They just sold out. I'm sorry. Thank you, Tito. Thank you for that. Thank you, Cruise Missile, as well. Thank you for super. Thank you so much, Cruise Missile. Thank you. Yeah, man. Even when it comes to church, right? I'm not going to a church and folks are masked up. I'm not. Yeah, my bad. Unhoused, not homeless. Unhoused. But think about this though. Think about the language. Minor attracted, unhoused. You know, these terms are to make what it is not seem like what it is. So if a person is unhoused, then you can house them and their problem is solved. We're going to house the migrants. We're going to house the immigrants. We're going to house the refugees. Again, they're giving these people a place to stay and not homeless people. This should let you know it's a setup. This should let you know the fact that they're housing illegal immigrants and not housing homeless should let you know that it's a setup. But now they're housing illegal immigrants in already established facilities, and then they're going to house the homeless in built, communities. Matter of fact, we have an example of that. Hold on one second. We got an example of that right here. We got an example of that right here. We have an example of that. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Maybe I can't find it, y'all. Oh, man. Because I wanted to show you this high rise they were building in Los Angeles, and they're going to build 2 more. And it's being built, a high rise being built by a nonprofit, which is insane. Here it goes right here.
A 278-unit high-rise is set to open on Skid Row, providing housing for the homeless. The residential tower will provide a gym, cafe, art studio, and a meal plan. The developer, Weingot Center nonprofit, said it's meant to encourage its residents to isolate itself from outside influences and provide a safe space. It will be one of 3 towers, with the first opening in June. It will be the largest supportive housing project in the city.
Yes, Annabelisa Dragonfly says, unhoused also makes it sound like the person was a victim. The person was victimized by someone else, takes away self-accountability for the situation. Yes, 1,000%. I'd venture to say that most people, 99% of people that are homeless because of their own doing. I believe that the small case of the 1%, something actually happened. I believe most people make poor choices and suffer the consequence. And as far as people going crazy, I believe that you being homeless for years at a time will make you go crazy. Let's go ahead and say that too. If you were homeless for long periods of times, you'd probably go crazy because you see so much. You see the worst of humanity down there. You know, contrary to popular belief, most homeless people aren't these just nice and you're just down there luck type of people. They're just good people that need an extra hand. That's not the case. In the homeless world is savagery. You don't know how much brutality, how many assaults take place in the homeless world, how many R words take place, how much stealing goes on, assaults. That the homeless world is very violent and brutal. It's like the wild kingdom, only the strong survive. It's very violent down in that homeless world. So the way they even show you homeless people is a farce. Go interview the homeless folks and see what goes on down there. They'll tell you. People get taken advantage of constantly. It's the strong preying on the weak constantly. So yes, Miss Dragonfly, unhoused also makes it sound like the person was victimized by someone else, takes away self-accountability for the situation. Yes.
A new 278-unit high-rise is set to open on Skid Row, providing housing for the homeless. The residential tower will provide a gym, cafe, art studio, and a meal plan. The developer, Weingot Center nonprofit, said it's meant to encourage its residents to isolate itself from outside influences and provide a safe space. It will be one of 3 towers, with the first opening in June. It will be the largest supportive housing project in the city.
Now, so you know it's a setup. What nonprofit has enough money to build 3 skyscrapers? What nonprofit has enough money in the infrastructure to build 3 skyscrapers? What are we talking about? We're talking about the nonprofits that hand out sandwiches and chips to the homeless. We're talking about a nonprofit that's already built a skyscraper and is going to build 2 more for the homeless. And the goal is to put everything inside so that the homeless folks are safe from the outside world. Are you serious? Most people that are regular, normal people try to avoid homeless people. Most folks aren't bothering the homeless. They try to avoid them. So the fact that the homeless need a safe space is some very severe propaganda. If homeless people were truly, truly, truly good people, the streets would be immaculate. If homeless people were truly good people, everybody's grass would be cut. Everybody's windows would be washed. If homeless people who only survive off the generosity of good-hearted people, if they were truly good people, then when we stepped outside, it should look beautiful because the homeless should take care of everything. The homeless community only survives because people are good to them. If people are savage to the homeless, they're finished. No shelters, no food, no nothing. So the fact that that's happening, if they're really good, these great people, then there should be service to the general public that's unmatched. Streets should be clean. Children should be able to walk to school with no problem. Think about somebody homeless. They outside all day. So that means outside should look good. What do you really see around homeless people? You see urine, you see feces, you see drugs, you see trash, you see trash, you see trash, you smell more urine. You ain't safe around them. So everybody is caping for the homeless people, but you won't go live with them. I would love to see, you are safer going to be like the Lady Joan Goodoff, whatever her name is, we're going and sitting with the chimpanzees or the gorillas. You better off going to do that with the gorillas and the monkeys. Go be one of their society where, you know, they embrace you. You watch the babies getting born, all that. You partying for 20, 30 years. If you try to do that with the homeless, you'll be dead in a year. If you tried to do like they do with them gorillas, imagine that. Imagine you being safer with some gorillas to go study them and live amongst them than you would be with some homeless. Am I lying? You are safer to go live with some gorillas in the wild, in the jungle, with no protection, than you are to go and do that same study with the homeless. Them folks will knock your head off and take everything you have. You do it with the homeless, see what happens. If they so good, they should welcome you, show you their great way of life, but they won't. They see food. I remember back in the day, the crackheads would do all kind of chores, clean your gutters, mow your trash. Mow your yard, take your trash out, tar your roof, do your roof for you, fix your car. When I was growing up, at least the people on drugs was industrious. When I was growing up, a person on crack was industrious. You could have been running and broke your leg. They would have ran by and put a spin on your leg and took you to the hospital on their back. They would have split your leg, put a splint on your leg that was broken, put you on their back, and ran to the hospital just for one hit, though. Just for one hit of crack. They'd have saved your life, fixed you up, and put you in the hospital. When I was coming up, them crackheads was industrious. Clean outside your store, stock your shelves, bring the boxes in from the back, help you move, help you build. When I was coming up, them crackheads was industrious. That was the first form of cheap labor. You didn't need no immigrants with crack. You didn't need immigrant labor with crack. Them crackheads could do anything. Satellite fell out on your roof, they go there and put your satellite up. Transmission wasn't working, fix your transmission. Them homeless folks do anything. Them crackheads, excuse me. I'm talking about do your taxes. It'd be a crackhead, do your taxes. A wizard with the numbers on crack, a wizard, do your taxes for you. So you almost want to bring the crack back. If you want to solve immigration, just bring the crack back. You bring the crack back, you don't need illegal immigration. You don't need labor. The crackhead will work. I'm talking about my uncle used to have the crackheads on the roofs of his properties. He would have the crackheads up there working in the heat, 100-degree weather up there, tarring roofs, working hard all day. Work hard for $100. Get that $100 and go smoke it up in 5 minutes. Smoke it up in 5 minutes. Y'all remember the crackheads from back in the day. Y'all remember them. They could do anything. They could fix anything. People used to like build houses and stuff and hire crackheads. People used to just hire crackheads. Dude, think about it. It was under the table payment, and they gonna work hard. You ain't gonna never hear a crackhead say I need a lunch break. Crackhead don't care about OSHA. You ain't never heard a crackhead say I need my 15 minutes. Crackhead gonna work all day, no lunch, no water, no nothing, no break, gonna work all the way through, and they want that money. Bring the crack back. We can build the whole nation up again with just crackheads. I don't know about fentanyl. I don't think fentanyl make them want to work though. See, these new drugs take away their work ethic. Crack didn't. Crack was such a good high to where it made you want to work to get the money to smoke crack. I'm just saying. You got to bring the crack back. And not only were the crackheads industrious, meaning good with their hands, but the crackheads also had a good deal for you. The crackheads also had a flat screen for you. They also had a DVD, Blu-ray player. Like they also had some, like the crackhead wasn't just gonna work hard. They also had a great hustle for you too. So you might hire a crackhead and you might hire him to work to help you on a project, and they also getting a discount on the Pampers, on the food. I'm just saying, them crackheads was their own resource. Them crackheads were their own resource. You didn't mind the crackheads either, because you knew you were gonna need them eventually. You knew it. You knew eventually you need a crackhead. I see Keena on here. Keena had a little stand set up in Brooklyn for her realty business. And if it was back in the day with the crackheads would have set it all up, would have took it from the car, set everything up, handed out the flyers, did come to the booth. Like the crackheads would have did the whole day, and she would have gave them $50. $50. They would have set up everything for Keena. Everything would have been set up. Would have went and got lunch for him and everything. Listen, the crackhead was the most industrious person we've ever seen in society. Now, granted, the motive behind the work ethic and the industrialness was the crack, but I'm just saying crackheads, for the most part, were useful. Now, every now and then, they're going to break into somebody's house and they're going to steal from you. That's just collateral damage from the crackhead. That every now and then they're gonna do something crazy because they on crack. I mean, so they're gonna steal, they're gonna rob, they're gonna do it even. But for the most part, if they know they can get something from you consistently, they'll leave you alone. They'll leave you alone. They'll leave you alone. Y'all know I ain't lying either. Y'all know I ain't lying. Y'all know we got to bring the crack back. I mean, it sounds crazy, but if you want to solve the border crisis, have a crack. Now, matter of fact, if you want to build a border, just had the crackheads would have did it. And think about this. If the crackheads know, if y'all work on this wall, we give y'all $1,000 a week. The crackheads would have built the wall in a week. That's what I'm saying. If you tell them crackheads, if you build this wall, we'll give you $1,000 a week. It won't get to week 2. They finna build that wall in the week. Crackhead, 1,000 waiting for him? Shh. Man, come on. Come on, man. Y'all remember them days. Them was the good old days, though. Those were the good days. It's just sad. Now they got the fentanyl, the other drugs now, they be zoned. They can't even, with the new drugs now, and I got 2 folks on here that put videos up. A Dream Life video, she showed a guy on drugs. He was bent over and was grabbing at his butthole. Just, I don't know what was at his butt. He was grabbing at it. He was high, he was gone. Keena showed a guy by the garbage can, laid out face first. These new drugs don't make the people want to do anything but just be high and a degenerate. Just you so high you can't even function. At least with the crackhead, they believe in a delayed high. They believed in working for their high. To me, that's what made them better dope fiends. They believed in working for the high. It's almost like like end of the day getting a carrot at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It made them want to do something because the end of the goal was the crack. It was just better times. These new drugs, they just strung out, can't move, can't walk, can't talk, just useless, just in the way, really, just in the way at that point. Back in them days, if your roof was leaking And the crackhead, oh my goodness, fix your roof. Oh, they knew all kind of trades. They could weld, they could build, they could cook, they could, oh, you had a barbecue, you can get a crackhead, you can have a whole truck full of meat. I need this meat barbecued, and the crackhead said, I don't even want no, crackhead said, I ain't hungry. I'm gonna cook this meat up because they know at the end of the day, they finna get $200. It's over. But those are the good days. Those are the good old days. Anyway, we got 2 scriptures coming. We got 2 scriptures, and I'm gonna leave. We got Matthew. Hold on. We got Kofi 19 with a super sticker. The folks who are down on their luck might say, I'm in between jobs and don't have a place to stay right now. The folks who are out of their minds probably say, I'm homeless. Exactly. Exactly, Kofi. A person that is truly not homeless, they'll tell you, I'm down on my luck. I'm trying to do this and this. That's different. But a person just saying, I'm homeless, I just want the money. Come on. And even here in Atlanta, they have a shelter. Listen, these cities have shelters, but the shelters require you to be in them by a certain time and you can't go back outside. These homeless folks got somewhere to stay. They don't want to stay there because they got rules and regulations. These homeless folks can go in the shelter, but guess what? You got to be there by 6 p.m. They ain't doing that. They ain't doing that. Thank you so much, Kofi. Starved Baby, peace be with you all. Matthew 6 and 7. Matthew 6 and 7. Let's see what it says. Matthew 6 and 7. But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathens do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. So again, y'all shouldn't be saying the same prayer every day all the time. It's what the heathens do. But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathens do, for they think they shall be heard for their much speaking. No, when y'all pray, be sincere. Have a sincere prayer. Be specific. I don't care if it's something simple. You know. Oh man, it was one more thing I forgot. Oh my goodness. I gotta show it next time. I'm sorry. And then the last scripture is from Angel Wings, my fantastic moderator. James 2. Well, I can't read all of it because it would take too long. But James 2, she has 1 through 13. My brethren, have not the faith of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord of glory, with respects of persons. For if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring and goodly apparel, and there cometh also a poor man in vile raiment, and ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, and say unto him, sit thou here in a good place, and say to the poor, stand thou there or sit here under my footstool, are ye not then partial in yourselves, and are become judges of evil thoughts? Hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not God chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith and heir of the kingdom, which he hath promised to them that love him? But ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? Do not they blaspheme the worthy name of that which are called? That which are called? If ye fulfill the royal law, according to the scripture, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, ye do well. But if ye have respect to persons, ye commit sin, and are convinced of the law as transgressors. For whosoever shall keep the whole law, and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all. For he that said, do not commit adultery, said also, do not kill. Now if thou commit no adultery, yet if thou kill, thou art become a transgressor of the law. So speak ye and do, and so do ye, and so do, as they that shall be judged by the law of liberty. For he shall have judgment without mercy, and hath shewed no mercy, and mercy rejoices against in judgment. That's a great scripture. And I'm going to tell you something. There's a difference from a person needing help and a person getting over. There's a difference between a person that is, again, like Kofi said, I'm in a hard situation, and somebody saying I'm homeless. Two different types of people. It's one thing to fall on hard times, but it's another thing to stay there. I think the issue is that the homeless situation is a farce because they invest billions upon billions upon billions of dollars into fixing the homeless problem, but it's getting worse. How could something be getting worse if more and more people are getting homeless? It doesn't make any sense. And it's because there is a spirit behind being homeless. The Bible says if a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. So it's righteous for a person to work. It's righteous for a person to be employed. It's righteous. It's ungodly to say, I'm going to live my life and let someone else take care of me. That's ungodly. And so when it comes to the homeless, most homeless people aren't just down on their luck. Most homeless people are out there by choice. It's by choice. Because the ones that aren't, they leave. Plenty of stories that we've heard. Chad said he was homeless. Tyler Perry said he was. Many of folks told you they was homeless, and they said, that ain't the life for me, I'm out. I'm just saying. So, again, what we got to do is we got to make this foolish proof. Because most folks are going to say that they need help too. They do need help. But guess what? Part of helping the people is them helping themselves. Jesus said, I'm going to make you fishers of men. Meaning I'm going to empower you. I'm going to make you fishers of men. So my job, if I'm giving you something to eat, the goal behind you eating is to meet your needs so that you can listen to what the Lord has to say. The purpose isn't to just feed you every day. The purpose is to teach you how to fish. Do it yourself. So the reason why we clothe the naked and feed the sick, feed the hungry, help the needy, help the sick, is because we want to get them out of a state of need to be able to receive the gospel. But if you just begging every day, that's something else. That's something different. That's not being in need. That's called getting over. Thank you, Angel Wings. Stimulated student says, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. So again, this is God telling you. Most folks are homeless due to making poor decisions. One more. The soul of the sluggard desireth and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. Again, the Bible says, a diligent hand maketh rich. So again, what I'm saying is that this homeless situation is not a situation of people not being able to have a house or somewhere to stay. It is an issue of the person's spirit. Somewhere in their life, they believe they could get over. And the Bible tells you trying to get over like that is going to come at a cost. You can only burn so many bridges. Anyway, thank you so much, Angel Wings, for moderating. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank y'all for tuning in. For the super stickers, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Instagram, I love y'all for tuning in. I got to go. I will see y'all tonight on Cutting Through the Culture. Y'all have a blessed evening. Thank y'all so much.